really excited. We've had a number of smartphone apps out already for a year, but I've just seen demos of the latest smartphone apps over the weekend, and I'm really excited. There's going to be some really awesome features that are going to allow individuals to be those nodes and to have this kind of multiplier effect that if you just have that smartphone app, take that picture, it's automatically geo-referenced, you can have it mapped in near real time, add imagery and video and so on. And so what you have, if you go to the next slide, when you have individuals who are empowered with these technologies and to speak out, you can go from, and this is a real example of one individual reporting via SMS mob violence breaking out in Haiti, of Port-au-Prince. The beauty of crowdsourcing, if you do let these platforms open, is what you'll see on the next slide. You just have this solution to make one general picture story, want to be empowered to say, this is what's happening to me, or just happened down the street. And the value of crowdsourcing that is, it allows you with these technologies to start triangulating and validating across pictures, text messages, tweets, what is happening. So if you go to the next slide, you should get a text from the well. When you will this triangulated map of individuals witnessing some of the same events become the new first draft of history. Will this be what we will turn to as events unfold in the future? You know, we often say that history is written by the winners. Well, maybe not for longer when trust information, where speech 2.0 can actually be defined by it can be good when you have wisdom of the crowd is a low term, but when you have more and more individuals reporting about the same events, then you start having a history that's triangulated and basically visualized on a map. Next slide, please. And this is where Venice comes in, because when I started reflecting on this, when I was preparing for this talk as well, is the PhotoSense. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the PhotoSense platform. That's a Microsoft technology. It's really impressive. Basically what they do is they take thousands of pictures that you can find online, primarily from Flickr, that people have willingly, obviously, uploaded. They crowdsource these pictures for food. It's like Venice. You can start stitching these pictures, quite literally in a way, stitching these pictures together, because people will have taken pictures at different angles, from different locations, different distances, and you can recreate a 3D model of San Marco, the piazza in Venice, just from crowdsourced information. You can rebuild these historical artifacts just from crowdsourced information. And I think there's an interesting, it does serve as an interesting analogy with Ushahidi. One idea that I had been thinking about, can Ushahidi take this PhotoSense idea and become the all-sense, ALL, the all-sense of information? Can we have the crowd be empowered for the freedom of speech 2.0 to report pictures, video footage, text, you name it, and recreate an event like Tiananmen Square? Can you imagine if we had this in Tiananmen Square, PhotoSense as well as the full-out Ushahidi platform, and recreate not only in space the events that took place, but actually over time as well, and to actually recreate that scene almost as a movie. And one of the ideas that sort of is coming out of this, for me at least, is that if a repressive repeats a major event that has never happened, in order to discredit an opposition party or a resistance movement and brand them as terrorists, maybe in the near future it's going to become a lot more difficult for them to do so, to recreate scenes that never took place. So if we go to the next slide, the question I have is, what would it take? What would it take to actually gain a platform like Ushahidi, were it to get so much traction that it could look like something to the effect of PhotoSense? And my short answer, I think I'm running out of time, is provocatively, the next slide I suggest that these repressive regimes would have to move to Hollywood. And if you're familiar with the movie Wag the Dog, that's another analogy I use. If a regime wanted to pretend that it was the protesters that used violence first, that started firing first, or becoming rowdy and violent and provoke the military, police, what have you, how would you recreate that? How would you take an OCD platform that a pro-democracy movement is using and then try and falsify crowdsourced information to make it believable, right? I think you'd have to have dozens of different pictures taken from dozens of different cameras. You'd have to have dozens of different text messages coming from different phones using different language, number of different tweets, not retweets, different tweets from different Twitter handles. You'd want different video footage of events that never happened, pictures on Flickr of events that never happened, perhaps. And you probably would want to hire some actors as well if you were going to recreate a scene. And so I do think that when it comes to crowdsourced information, while it is not impossible, it makes it a little more difficult. You know, information does still come out, and if you're going to fabricate it, you better be able to take some time and preparation and rehearse your scenes and then put that and document that. And I don't think repressive regimes necessarily have the time to do that, especially when they're in a situation like in Iran where they're feeling threatened. So